After one of the worst midweeks in Scottish football history, we turn our attention to the weekend. And I tell you what, man, we've got a great Saturday, then a super Sunday. 4 games, 2 derbies, 2 games on TV. I'm really looking forward to that. Even if I will be watching it from behind the couch, but I just pointed out one of the worst midweeks, right, in Scottish football history. The weekend could compound it for certain supporters of certain teams, man. Because I don't know what this weekend promises. Signings, outgoings, ingoings, craziness on the horizon. But we have to begin with League Two. And this is exactly what I want to talk about, folks. East Kilbride looking good. Spartans looking good. Dumbarton, despite a points deduction, looking alright. Edinburgh City during the week had their appeal thrown out, so that would have massively helped them. Of course it would have. I mean, that's me being a bit. I mean, it would have pretty much added 15 points to their total, so of course it would have helped them, but they currently sit 9 off at Elgin and Stranraer. But here, let's get into the fixtures, shall we? So, Clyde versus Elgin City. I'm going to go 2-0 Clyde. Dumbarton versus Edinburgh City. Tough game. Edinburgh City, you know what, man, they just need to pick up points in every game. They just need to keep on making that minus get ever closer to 0. And once they get to 0, they'll be able to breathe a sigh of relief and hopefully move up the table for themselves. But, you know, I'll go for a 2-week draw. East Kilbride gets 4 for Athletic. I thought the wheels were coming off the East Kilbride team, but, you know, they've actually done pretty good in the last couple of weeks. After the disastrous defeat in the Cup, then they lost the first game of the league and you're thinking, oh, the wheels came off. But no, they've got to the garage, they've fixed a new set of wheels and they're looking alright. So I'm going to go 2-0. Stirling Albion against Stranraer. For the sake of it, me not having to add Claymore into the review show, let's hope it's Stirling Albion. I'll go 2-1 to them. And then the Spartans versus Annan Athletic at the Fan Lock Community Stadium. I'm going to go 1 each in that one. That moves us on though to League One, where we've got more points deductions. Inverness, who most of us have tipped to win the league, they sit 7th on 4 points. Cove Rangers sit at the bottom. Alloa Athletic, who took Rangers pretty close at Ibrox in the Cup, sit top of the league. Queen of the South sit in second with Stenhousemoor on 7 points. And tell you for free, if Alloa win their game in hand, 5 points at 4 games in to the start of the season, that would be an insane start. But the fixtures, obviously, they're not going to get that game back for a wee while yet, but they are away to Inverness, and if Alloa win this game, then by God they're looking good for a title challenge. But I don't think they will win this game. I'm going to go for Inverness 2, Alloa Athletic 1. Moving on to Lennox Park, we've got Montrose versus Peterhead. I'm going to go 2 each. Queen of the South versus Kelty Hearts. I'm going to go 2-0 Queen of the South. Wee bit underwhelming so far for them. Kelty Hearts are a bit shite. Stenhousemoor versus East Fife. I'm going to go 0-0. Then a game on TV. It's on BBC Alba, Broadwood Stadium. Hamilton versus Cove Rangers. Cove Rangers sitting pretty much rock bottom. I'm going to go 3-0 Hamilton. And that wraps up the 2 lower leagues. But we've got one more to talk about. The Championship. Alright, so a few changes. Don Cowie. He's away. Rightfully so, because let's face it, folks, he was absolute pish. Don't really understand why they didn't get rid of him last season. Now here, on the flip side, St Johnstone didn't get rid of their manager, and he's sitting top of the league. But here, seeing you go down to the Championship, right, you cannot afford to be kicking off with 1 point out of 9, especially when your title rivals have got 9 out of 9. You cannot be doing that, and it was the right decision from Ross County. You've got a few teams on 2 points, a few teams on 4. Who's the surprise package? So, Ross County for all the wrong reasons. Arbroath sit 4th, which is a wee bit surprising, but depending on results this weekend, they could go from 4th to like 8th or something, so we'll see how that plays out. So let's go into the fixtures then. No game on Friday, which is a bit weird, but yeah, I'm not greeting too much about that. There's plenty of games on this weekend to dive into. So Arbroath versus Airdrie. Again, another massive game for Arbroath just to get a few more points in, but I'm going to go 2 each, point apiece for both of them. Ayr United versus Queen's Park. Scott Brown, the start to the season has been quite underwhelming. I don't think many people can really dispute that. I'm going to go 1 each again. I'm going to go another draw here. Then we've got Dunfermline versus Ross County. Neil Lennon. This guy, Ross County, it's going to be a tough one, but if they want to get... It's like if you have ambitions of beating St Johnstone, this is just a game you need to win. Because not that Ross County are a complete free fall. I do believe there will be some form of manager bounce, and we're 3 games in. Fuck it, I'll go Dunfermline to win 2-1. Neil Lennon to get his Dunfermline side over the line. Partick Thistle versus Wraith Rovers. Gotta have faith in Wraith. Mark Wilson actually done better than I thought he would, so I'll say that about him. But I will go 2-1 to Wraith Rovers, and then St Johnstone against Greenock Morton at home. Looks like they're just going to easy peasy get it on 12 points. I'll go with St Johnstone to win 2-0, and that leaves us with the Premiership. Then here is your league table. I mean, no, that's bogging, man. Russell Martin needs to go. I'm sick of it. How's the guy still in a job? Oh, forget about Bruce. Right, forget about the 9-1. I know it's hard to forget about it, because that 6-0 will be ingrained. That will be installed into my brain till the day I die, how bad that was, right? But this, look at this, man. I mean, everything about this is awful. No wins. Only scored, averaging a goal a game. We're conceding a goal a game. Should have lost every game, if we're being brutally honest about it. And we're in the bottom 6. So pish. Celtic sit top. Them and Hearts, undefeated. Now, to be fair, there is actually quite a lot of undefeated teams. Us, Killie and Motherwell all sit undefeated with 3 draws, but I think those two will be rather happy. They'll be a wee bit more happier than Rangers. Hibs, we've only played 2 games alongside the likes of Dundee United, Falkirk and Aberdeen. Aberdeen, disappointing result against Stade Bucharest. Shitey red card, but Aberdeen are the only team so far not to score a goal, which is just downright disgusting. Now here, yes, they played Celtic, they played Hearts, but if we're being honest about it, man, they didn't even come close to scoring against one of those two. They just did not. And then who else have we got in here? Who's underperforming? I mean, Falkirk, a lot of hype about them. They drew against Dundee United 2-2, and you're thinking, oh, aye, and then they go to Livy, and it was just, Livy just outclassed them. And but no, the thing is about Livy's start to the season, right? They beat Falkirk, and then they clawed back against a Killie team who went down to 10 men, and then they lost at Parkhead in one of the most pathetic displays of a football team you'll see. Apart from that midweek there from about 3 of the 4 teams. But yeah, it's like, how good really are Livy? Like, a lot of people bumming up Davy Martindale on his side here. I'll take Davy Martindale at Rangers, but I don't think they've been that good. It just looks a lot better. I mean, they sit 4th, and for a newly promoted team, that's always going to look toasty. But I think the wheels are going to come off them. But for Falkirk, man, they need to start winning games if they want to stay up. And as for Aberdeen, well, Jimmy Thielen just literally needs that to happen. But Livy, who do they kick off Saturday? Well, there's 2 3 o'clock kickoffs. Livy against Hearts. Hearts need to win. Last week was disappointing, drawing for each with Motherwell. There is no 2 ways about it. If you've got aspirations of winning this league, or even splitting the Old Firm, as bad as Rangers are, right, Martin will get sacked before it gets to, like, it's already, I was going to say ridiculous points. It's beyond ridiculous, but if we're still sitting 7th in November, Russell Martin will not be in a job. So Hearts need to make use of the start to the season that Rangers are having if they want to finish second. And it's the same here. If we want to talk about a title fight or whatever, Hearts need to be beating a newly promoted side. I believe they will. It'll be interesting to see their new signing come on the pitch, or if he'll start, because spending a lot of money on him, Tony Bloom, he's blasting the money about. I'll go 2-0 Hearts. Then we got Motherwell versus Killie. This game just does nothing for me. This is just one of those games that's just bogging on paper, will be bogging. Both teams have drew every single game, and I'm going to go for a repeat of that. I am going to go for a 1-1 draw. But I wouldn't be surprised if this is the game where Motherwell finally get over the line, put in a great performance, and win like 3-0. But you know what? I'm going to go with Stuart Kettlewell to get another draw, and it'll continue a weird streak of 2 teams remaining undefeated with 4 draws into a season, because that doesn't really happen. Right, Sunday. Do we? Nah, we're not going to talk about the Old Firm just yet. We are. Fuck it. Right, this is Armageddon. This is the end of days. People can call it El Sacchio. I mean, Rodgers ain't getting sacked. No one's getting sacked. Well, I say no one's getting sacked. Martin could get sacked, but Rodgers ain't getting sacked. Now, if Rangers are winning like 2-0 in the 90th minute, you probably won't be able to hear the Celtic fans, but there is going to be sack the board. Russell Martin get to fuck. Here, there probably might be Brendan Rodgers' chance in some capacity if Celtic are getting beat. This could be the worst Old Firm ever. or it's got the potential to be one of the better ones, just due to the lack of everything, man. I mean, people are talking about Celtic's lack of attacking abilities. There could be a few players signed before Sunday for both teams, but I think one thing's for certain: Rangers are going to continue playing the same shitey way, regardless of personnel, and defending is going to be atrocious. So I think there's going to be a lot of goals. I'm actually going to go for 3 each. To me, that's more hope than anything. But Russell Martin will probably survive with a draw. I don't think he survives with a defeat. And I'm sad to announce this, but I think this sad song's going to continue well on into September. And it's going to be like the longest international break ever. Ideal world is we win this game and he gets sacked on the Monday, but we know that's not going to happen. And it's a shite situation that we're in, because it's got to a point for Rangers where it doesn't actually matter what Russell Martin does. Everybody wants him out, and even beating Celtic's not going to change that. But I'm going to go with 3 each, and I'm going to go with Bojan Miłoski and Celtic's new winger to get a few goals. I think the new signings are going to look impressive in this game. Celtic are linked with signing Dolberg as well. Who knows, maybe the loanee that Rangers are linked with, signing from Everton, will get a goal or two, but I just pray Rangers can win this game of football, but I'm going with 3 each. Anyway, moving on. We've got Dundee versus Dundee United, Premier Sports, Dens Park. No Ember Derby this time around when the Old Firm's on, but we've got a Dundee Derby, and last year this game was fantastic. I'm pretty sure they played each other in the Cup as well. I think it was 4 games, because obviously they didn't finish in the split beside each other. Every game was great, and great entertainment value, so I'm going to go with it. I'm going to go with I think Dundee will be up for it. I'm going to go 2 each. 2 each. Aberdeen Falkirk, right? Aberdeen at home to Pittodrie. I seen a stat on Twitter earlier that out of the hardest potential draw that Aberdeen could have got, they actually did, and I don't know what it's based off. Personally, I don't think it's true, because they got Noah at home, and despite what you think of the rest of the teams in the draw, Noah are like literally one of the worst teams in the competition, so you can't really dispute that. So I'm going to go here 2 each between Aberdeen and Falkirk. And then up next, we've got Hibs versus St Mirren. St Mirren have had a good start to the season, despite not really showing it in results. Hibs, for me, have had a fantastic start to the season, but they did draw with Killie. But I believe they'll win here, and I think they'll win relatively easy. But I don't know actually, because Thursday could have fucking depressed them, just like the rest of every team that was in action on midweek, man. Fuck, actually, I'm gonna go for a 2 each draw. Going to go for a 2 each draw. Anyway, folks, that will do it for the SPFL preview show. A big weekend ahead. I've got a feeling if the midweek was crazy, then this is going to be absolutely mental. Because no matter what happens in this Old Firm game, there's going to be some meltdown on either side. Even if it's a draw, that the atmosphere, man, brutal.